A company owned by San Diego-based Illumina says hundreds of people got letters saying they may have cancer, but it turns out a computer glitch sent those letters by mistake.
Plus, a scam targeting EBT card users. What you need to watch out for.
At UC San Diego, where a single mom who'd been part of the foster care system now gets a doctorate degree. You'll be blown away by her story.
Hey, let's keep San Diego duty-free.
And the dream of a bicycle revolution is just spinning its wheels if you can't carry your stuff with you. Introducing the V-Locker.
CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
Hundreds of people received letters last month telling them they may have cancer, but it turns out those letters were a mistake. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. A company owned by San Diego-based Illumina says a computer glitch caused the error and accidentally sent those letters. CBS 8's Steve Price is outside Illumina's headquarters in the UTC area to explain what happened. Steve?
And Marcella, that company is called Grail. As you mentioned, it's owned by Illumina, and they want to make it clear their tests are accurate. The problem is another company's computer. Gallery is a blood test designed to detect more than 50 types of cancer as early as possible, even before you have any symptoms. You can order it online for $949, which includes a telemedicine appointment from PWN Health to write you a prescription. But Gallery's maker, Grail, which is owned by San Diego-based Illumina, says a software configuration issue resulted in PWN Health sending an inaccurate form letter to approximately 400 individuals from May 10th until May 18th, 2023 regarding their Gallery test result. That letter incorrectly informed patients that they may have cancer.
Nobody wants to get an erroneous test result, but it's especially troubling when that test result has to do with a life-threatening illness.
Carmen Balber, executive director with Consumer Watchdog, understands that computer glitches happen, but she wonders how information so sensitive can be sent without first being approved by a human.
It raises a flag that technology can fail, especially when there's no human intervention, and we need to be extremely careful with that in the healthcare field because lives are at stake.
Grail said in a statement that they quickly spotted the error and started contacting people within 36 hours of receiving the bogus letters. Quote, "We successfully reached each individual via phone, email, or letter." CBS 8 reached out to Grail to find out if any San Diegans received the incorrect letters, but the company didn't respond to my email or voice message. Balber says nowadays patients get lab results quickly, sometimes even before a doctor has had a chance to see them. She says it's important to always go over them with your doctor.
If you get a test result, don't rely on your own interpretation. Please speak to a medical care professional to make sure that what you're looking at is accurate.
Once again, we don't know if anyone in San Diego received those letters, but Carlo and Marcelo, what we do know is that some folks who got the letters hadn't even taken the test yet. They had just ordered it, but they hadn't actually taken it and sent it in. So imagine their surprise to get results for a test that they hadn't even taken yet.
Yeah, I guess kind of a little red flag there. So hundreds of these letters went out, but how popular are these tests, Steve?
So the cancer screening market, Carlo, is huge. We're talking $44 billion huge. As for this one particular test, they're expecting to make somewhere around $110 million. So it is an extremely popular test.
Startling mistake there. Steve Price reporting for us. Thanks for clearing that all up. Thanks, Steve. El Cajon police need your help tonight to find a missing at-risk teenager. Evan Sparks is 15 and is described as nonverbal and autistic. He was last seen around 12:30 this afternoon in the area of Grossmont High School. He was wearing a red knit beanie, a dark long sleeve shirt, jeans, and carrying a tan backpack. If you've seen him or have any information, you should call El Cajon Police or 911.
The Secret Service is investigating a Romanian crime ring in Southern California, targeting those debit cards issued by the state for food and welfare benefits. As CBS 8's David Goffredson reports, the victim's money is stolen when using California debit cards that don't have chips.
The technology behind magnetic strips on debit and credit cards has been around since the 1970s. But the state of California still uses magnetic strips on EBT cards, Debit cards used to distribute food assistance through CalFresh and low-income welfare funds. Former San Diego U.S. Attorney Chuck LaBella explains.
A lot of this money is Fed money. And so it ultimately comes from the federal government, and then the state matches, and then they have funds that they add to it. One of the things that is baffling to me is why the Fed hasn't required a chip when they transfer the money.
Most consumers are used to seeing a chip on their credit card these days. The technology works to prevent thieves from using card skimmers to read magnetic strips. This search warrant issued last week details a Romanian card skimming ring targeting EBT debit cards in San Diego and Los Angeles.
A lot of the Eastern European countries have crime syndicates that focus on soft spots. California is a soft spot.
The warrant says a Romanian man was arrested last year, suspected of installing debit card skimmers on self-checkout machines at Walmart stores in Chula Vista, National City, and inside this store in Sherman Heights. Just last week, agents staked out this U.S. bank in El Cajon and arrested a Romanian national after he allegedly used cloned debit cards to withdraw cash. And in California, when benefit money is stolen from debit accounts, the state is on the hook to replace the money.
As a taxpayer, it's completely unacceptable. As a former law enforcement, it is a completely unacceptable approach to consumer protection and the protection of taxpayer money.
One way to prevent this type of theft, don't leave money in your EBT account for very long. Transfer it right away into your personal checking account, and then you can withdraw it later. In El Cajon, David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
All right, David, thanks. The state is proposing to spend $76 million over the next 3 years to improve EBT debit card security, but it's still not clear whether or not those improvements include adding chip technology.
Smooth streets are coming to Rancho Bernardo again, more than 15 years after the Witch Creek fire. More than 1,200 homes were destroyed in the fire back in 2007, and the streets were damaged by fire and heavy vehicles rolling through in the aftermath. 2 miles of roads in Rancho Bernardo will be repaired and resurfaced. A state grant will cover almost half of the $5.2 million cost. Strong words from Governor Gavin Newsom calling Florida Governor Ron DeSantis a, quote, small, pathetic man, blaming him for sending migrants to California.
As our political reporter Morgan Reiner tells us, State Attorney General Rob Bonta is investigating.
A second flight with migrants touched down here in Sacramento hours ago, and the California Department of Justice confirming with me that there are many similarities between the two flights. We're talking flight patterns. We're talking the documents that the immigrants had in their hands when they landed, and officials across the state were quick to weigh in. Just an hour ago, I had a one-on-one interview with Sacramento Darrell Steinberg, who told me that this is nothing more than a political stunt from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who he says is running for president and just trying to get ahead of former President Donald Trump in the polls.
16 migrants from Texas flown to California's capital on Friday night and dropped off at a church. Attorney General Rob Bonta says his office knows who is behind this.
We think it's the state of Florida. We think that because there's documents that were given to the migrants to sign with the name of the state of Florida on it. It's their voluntary transportation program. It's the same program that was used in Martha's Vineyard.
Governor Gavin Newsom Monday morning took to Twitter, calling Florida Governor Ron DeSantis a small, pathetic man, even threatened potential kidnapping charges. That's something the Attorney General's office would seek, and Bonta says his office is looking into several different criminal charges.
Essentially lie fraudulently to individuals to manipulate them.
But that didn't deter a second flight with approximately 20 migrants Monday afternoon from touching down in Sacramento. Democratic Assembly member Kevin McCarty, who represents Sacramento, tweeted, "Sacramento will always welcome immigrants and refugees, but this is offensive, immoral, and of course, illegal."
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has not publicly weighed in on this, but I did email his press office earlier today asking for an interview or a statement to confirm whether or not Florida's taxpayer-funded program, which was behind the trip last year to Martha's Vineyard, is also behind these two flights. to Sacramento. At this moment, I have not heard back from the governor's office.
Thank you, Morgan. Still ahead tonight, a message of inclusivity in the East County during this Pride Month.
Plus, cleaning up after your dog isn't just good manners. In an Earth 8 report, why pet owners should keep San Diego duty-free.
Yeah, I had to pick up some questionable stuff on that story. All right, you're talking about doom, gloom. Yeah, the cloud cover sticking around through the middle of the week and even a chance for some light showers. All that coming up in your forecast. Back to you, too.
And I'm out here at UC San Diego, where a former foster care kid and a single mom here in San Diego just got her doctorate degree. Wait until you hear what she's going to do with it.